Previously, we only looked at opening bids of one or trump and one of a suit, but those aren't the only bids that are made. Many a time somebody opens at 2 or 3. As you see, they could open up to 7 or trumps, but I don't think I've ever seen that. But I have seen many times where people have opened 2 or 3 of a suit. And here we have an example of a hand which I would open 2 hearts, and so would probably most of the world's leading players. And you might say, well, why do you want to open 2 rather than 1 when you've only got 8 points, 3, 5, 6, 8? And the reason is that you're getting in the way of the opponents. They're having to make a bid which is higher than 2 hearts, because every bid has to be made at a higher level than the previous one, either a higher rank or a higher level. And traditionally, the 2 heart bid shows between 5 to 9 points. That might not seem a lot, but in compensation, you have to have 6 of the suit. So King, Queen, Jack, 8, 3, 2 is a good suit, and the opponents will struggle to come into the auction. So as we see here, the declarer has a good heart suit, King, Queen, Jack, 8, 3, 2, and his partner will know by agreement that he's not showing a lot of points. He's showing between 5 and 9 points. Our partner will act accordingly. The opponents also need to know it as well. You can't have an agreement with your partner which isn't disclosed to the opponents. Bridge is supposed to be a game where you tell both sides what you've got. Now, the other thing is that you can't open 2 of a suit if your suit is clubs, because that is needed as an artificial bid, which doesn't show clubs at all. So if this suit was in clubs, King, Queen, Jack, 8, 3, 2 in clubs, and these were in hearts, you wouldn't open 2 clubs because that would show a very strong hand. And the traditional method of playing, probably 90% of people around the world, or maybe 80%, is that 2 clubs shows a very strong hand of about 22 points or better. So that covers the bids at the 2 level. There are important bids on the 3 level which require a 7 card suit. So we can make a very small change to this hand, just changing one of the hearts to, say, the 10, adding the 10 of hearts, and taking away one of the diamonds or clubs, say one of the clubs, doesn't matter. Now, this hand would open with almost everybody in the world, would open this 3 hearts with a good 7 card suit and less than 10 points. So this time, again, about 5 to 9 points. There's no real difference in the strength of the 2 heart bid and the 3 heart bid, and they may seem to overlap slightly, and they sometimes do. But the important thing is that the 3 heart bid has a 7 card suit and the 2 heart bid has a 6 card suit, and the same for spades and the same for diamonds. For clubs this time, if these were clubs, King, Queen, Jack, 10, 8, 3, 2, and these were, say, hearts, Queen, 9, 4, then you would open 3 clubs, because that isn't a special bid, it's just a preemptive bid. So the bids at the 3 level are all known as preemptive bids. The bids at the 2 level are essentially preemptive as well, although they're sometimes just known as weak 2s, because that's a sort of a phrase that seems to have got into the literature rather than preemptive 2s. They're still preemptive in that they're getting in first. A preemptive strike is where you get in there before the opponents, and your aim is to make it difficult for the opponents. The opponents will... We saw this double card a little while ago, I think in the other lesson on the mechanics of the bidding box. And this double card is often used against these preemptive bids, not to say that the opponents can't make the contract, but to ask partner to bid their best suit. And that's called a takeout double. So if South opened 3 hearts and this hand doubled, it wouldn't be increasing the penalties for going down into 3 hearts. It would be what's known as a takeout double. And that part is the more common use of this. Of course, if the opponents overstep the mark, and if they say got to 6 hearts, the double would say that they can't make it. So that really covers the preemptive bids. At the 4 level, you would generally expect 8 card suit for opening at the 4 level. So 6 at the 2 level, 7 at the 3 level, and 8 at the 4 level. That's a sort of pretty good 6, 7, 8 rule, which you could sort of remember. You won't go far wrong if you use that. And you've made a huge strides today in understanding the opening bids. There's still plenty to learn, and we'll cover it all in later videos. Thank you all for attending.